gimmick. But the thing about it, which was special when I was a kid, when we were, my family, we were all, climbing mom and dad's bed and watching TV, Johnny Carson, was he made the show for everybody. He didn't alienate anyone, and you never knew who he kind of thought that these guys all leaned left, like most of the media, but you never knew 100%. And that's kind of a beautiful thing, and I hope it goes back to that.
That we're supposed to put everybody to bed or whatever it is. They all went bananas left. I mean, Colbert, these guys are terrible. Like Kimmel to me is just maybe friends with him. I know a lot of people
I love Jimmy.
Yeah, like he's
Colbert and I are not friends.
Yeah, like those guys to me, they're just the worst sort of partisan nonsense. You want everybody.
But the good part of that is we don't hide it. Like he doesn't like me and I don't like him, and we don't deny it, and we don't like it.
No, but he's nothing.
Colbert?
Yeah, he's nothing.
He's also very successful.
No, but he's just giving the machine what it wants all the time.
Giving
for my differences with you, I totally respect you.
Is well said.
Yeah.
Giving the machine what it wants. I wish I had thought of that phraseology.
Well. The king of late-night woke talk just lost his crown hard. And what came next? Pure fire. Conservative comedian Rob Schneider lit up Stephen Colbert like a grand finale on the 4th of July. The face of smug liberal humor just got booted by CBS. And Schneider. He brought jokes that hit like truth missiles. He broke down exactly why the fall was bound to happen. And wait for it, Bill Maher stepped in too, sweeping up the woke wreckage Colbert left behind. Buckle up. This ride's about to get wild.
Only Rob Schneider joins us now. I do have to sort of think it's kind of funny that they say this is a financial decision. Yeah, it's a financial decision because your show was terrible and nobody was watching it and you were losing money.
Well, there should be no fuzz on this at all, Griff. The Russians got Colbert fired, and I think I'm willing to testify if I get complete immunity from the Trump administration and from CBS. I'm willing to test.
Rob Schneider opened the floodgates by blaming Russia for Colbert's firing, and it was pure fire satire. He was clearly mocking all those years Colbert spent ranting about Trump-Prussia drama. The twist? That same tired excuse is now being recycled by liberals to explain Colbert's fall. Schneider's joke hit hard because it exposed the same paranoia that powered Colbert's endless rants. For years, Colbert pushed wild conspiracies and turned every show into a solo impeachment mission. Now, the joke's on him. Schneider's burn reminded everyone just how crazy the Trump-Prussia craze got, and how perfect it is that Colbert's own fantasy is now eating him alive. The blame Russia card is collapsing, and Rob brought snacks for the show.
Now, this morning also, if you go on social media, that a district court judge has prevented CBS from firing Stephen Colbert, which I don't think is fair either.
Schneider followed up by roasting Colbert with a savage joke about a district judge supposedly stopping CBS from firing him. Sounds nuts, right? Until you remember, Colbert once claimed a district judge could overrule a federal one. Yeah, that's not how the law works, but Colbert said it anyway. Schneider took that nonsense and spun it into comedy gold. His punchline didn't just hit the firing, it shredded the legal fiction Colbert once sold to viewers. Rob wasn't just cracking jokes. He was throwing a spotlight on Colbert's twisted version of reality, and it was hilarious.
These Democrat politicians like Elizabeth Warren and a few others have come out and made statements in defense of Stephen Colbert saying, hey, you fired him for political reasons. I know that you're an outspoken conservative. I imagine there are some jobs maybe that you were passed over for because of your views?
I just want to say, if Elizabeth Warren wants to pick up the tab for what CBS has been losing, just take away from her private jets, and she can put it towards Stephen Colbert's salary. It's a lot tougher for. I love it when I and other, conservative comedians get accused of grifting off the right. Well, there's a lot more grift, as we've noticed at the U.S. aid from the Democrats. As I sit here in Boston and outdoors, not paying for a room to rent to do this interview. Yes.
Elizabeth Warren jumped in to defend Colbert, claiming he was canned for political reasons. But Schneider, he torched that excuse instantly. He joked that if Warren flew private a little less, she could help CBS cover the mess Colbert left behind. Total mic drop. But this wasn't just a swipe at Warren, it was a hit on the elite double standards that kept Colbert afloat for years. Here's a senator pushing climate justice, while flying private jets and backing a millionaire host who turned partisan rants into late-night comedy. Warren's defense said it all. The so-called champions of the working class live in a dream world where rules don't apply to them.
Here's what happens. Like, Colbert already cut the pie. It's a pizza. He already cut it in half. His potential audience, he cut it in half.
Right.
With it, just by cutting out all conservatives at all, not caring about, the 47 states that may have a different opinion than the Democratic Party of open borders and women have junk between their legs. We have to, and so he had half the pie already gone, and then he has to divide that pizza in 3 slices with Jimmy Kimmel and Jimmy Fallon, and then so he's working for a third of a piece of pie, and that's not going to pay the bills. They have 200 employees, and frankly, I have more people will watch this on Twitter than for his advertising group that everybody on TV seems to still think is important. That 18 to 35.
Colbert didn't just get political; he went full tribal. Schneider called it out, plain and simple. If you mock half the country, don't expect them to stick around. And Colbert did exactly that. Night after night, conservatives were the punchline. No nuance, no middle ground, just non-stop red state slams. Schneider nailed it. Colbert slashed his audience in half, then had to fight Kimmel and Fallon for the scraps. That's not winning, that's eating your own. CBS watched him lose viewers and add dollars while he patted himself on the back for being brave. Schneider exposed how Colbert drove away moderates and conservatives, turning his show into a smug bubble of liberal applause.
But the thing about it, which was special, when I was a kid, when we were, my family were all, climbing mom and dad's bed and watching TV, Johnny Carson, was he made the show for everybody. He didn't alienate anyone, and you never knew who he kind of thought that these guys all leaned left, like most of the media, but you never knew 100%. And that's kind of a beautiful thing, and I hope it goes back.
Schneider drew a brutal line between Colbert and Johnny Carson, and it wasn't a pretty comparison. Carson was the legend. Sure, he leaned left, but you'd never notice. His jokes were for everyone. But with Colbert, his show might as well have had a "No Conservatives Allowed" sign taped to the desk. Schneider mourned the death of true late night, the kind that didn't shove politics in your face. Carson had class and balance. Colbert had sarcasm and sneers. Where Carson brought America together with laughs, Colbert tore it apart with ego. Schneider nailed it. The real greats welcomed everyone to the party. Colbert built a stage and slammed the door shut on half the country.
To ask you, what do you make of our own Greg Gutfeld? He's really come in and upended it, even beating people like Colbert and changed the game.
Well, I will tell you what it is was you have somebody like Greg who's genuinely funny, and he has funny people on, and he tells jokes. And he definitely skews right. I think he might be a conservative. I'm not 100% sure. You never know with Greg.
Yeah.
But he's great. He's the number one guy for a reason. And I don't think he's belittling anything but a party that has allowed itself to position themselves to be belittled, to deserve that kind of ridicule.
And Schneider didn't hold back. Colbert just isn't funny. His whole act has been one long Orange Man bad rerun since 2016. Not edgy, not smart, just played out. And worse, downright nasty. Colbert didn't take on ideas, he took shots at people. Conservatives were racist, Trump fans were stupid, and America hopeless. Schneider drew a sharp contrast with Greg Gutfeld, who, love him or not, actually lets comedy breathe. Gutfeld jokes about everyone. He books real talent. He doesn't lecture. Colbert, meanwhile, ran late night like a political seminar with claps. Schneider reminded us what comedy used to be, finding laughs and shared nonsense. Colbert turned it into tribal warfare. And the crowd noticed.
Comedians, we could set something up and say, is this ridiculous or not? And unfortunately, the powers that be in the liberal media have allowed themselves to be ridiculed, and now they've allowed themselves to spend themselves into the ground to where CBS is no longer afraid from the woke empire, which is collapsing, to say, hey, we're going to fire this guy, we're going to save some money, we don't care the reaction of whatever Jimmy Kimmel says.
I
So
love that.
I wish
The woke empire is collapsing, and it's allowing people like you who are genuinely funny.
Schneider torched the entire woke comedy machine. He laid it out. Comedians are supposed to roast everyone, not just the right. But Colbert and the liberal late-night crew picked a side and stuck to it. Schneider said it straight. When comedy turns into propaganda, it stops being comedy. Woke comics forgot the golden rule. The joke should hit all sides, not just Republicans. And now, the whole thing is collapsing. Ratings tanked, relevance gone. The crowd they pandered to has ditched them for TikTok and Instagram Reels. Schneider's point landed hard. Comedy can't breathe inside a bubble. Colbert turned into a high priest of the Church of Woke, and now that church is on fire. No one wants to sit through a sermon, especially when the punchline barely lands. The woke joke has flatlined, and Colbert was the last one still laughing.
I think he's going to land on his feet. I feel terrible. He only has $100 million to do it, but I'm sure that that's a way. If you think ahead, if you plan ahead with that $100 million, I think you're gonna land on your feet, Steve.
Yeah.
Sure, Colbert's sitting on $100 million, but Schneider made it clear that won't save him. He joked that Colbert might land on his feet, but those feet are stuck in concrete called Trump derangement syndrome. And that's the real problem. Colbert isn't adaptable. He's a leftover from an era where mocking Trump was a career plan. Without that, and without a cheering liberal crowd, what's he got? Schneider wasn't being cruel, he was being real. Money can't fake authenticity. Colbert might try to bounce back with a podcast or streaming deal, but the viewers he ditched aren't returning. Too many bridges burned. When your brand is all bitterness and purity tests, reinvention isn't just tough, it's nearly impossible. That $100 million might keep him comfy, but it won't revive a career built on pushing people away. Then Bill Maher stepped in, and even he didn't bother to defend Colbert.
Killing an idea
Oh, yeah.
is that we have to come up with bombs that kill ideas.
I mean, I feel like you're on this page. Are we going to wipe them out?
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying that it's an emotional response.
Right.
I'm
and
not
that's
on the page.
And that's not a good idea. Emotional response.
Maher, who still calls himself a liberal, didn't hold back. He said Colbert lost his grip trying to take down Trump with a comedy show. That obsession, it blinded him. Maher's no right-wing firebrand, but even he sees how far off the rails Colbert went. This isn't about politics, it's about common sense. Maher's always believed comics should think, not just feel. But Colbert let anger take over his punchlines and turned his show into a courtroom, and the verdict: guilty of being painfully unfunny. Maher's advice was blunt. Stop chasing revenge and start writing real jokes. If Colbert can't do that, Maher hinted he should just stick to fundraising gigs because late night doesn't need another furious liberal. It needs someone who remembers how to be funny.
We're supposed to put everybody to bed or whatever it is. They all went bananas left. I mean, Colbert, these guys are terrible. Like, Kimmel to me is just maybe friends with him. I know a lot of people
I love Jimmy.
Yeah, like he's
Colbert and I
horrible
are
to
not
me.
friends.
Yeah, like those guys to me, they're just the worst sort of partisan nonsense. You want everybody.
But the good part of that is we don't hide it. Like, he doesn't like me and I don't like him. And we don't deny it and we don't like it.
No, but he's nothing.
Colbert?
Yeah, he's nothing.
He's also very
No,
successful.
but he's just giving the machine what it wants all the time.
Giving the
You
machine-
for my differences with you,
That
I totally respect you.
is
You-
well said.
Yeah.
Giving the machine what it wants. I
Yeah.
wish I had thought of that for
Maher delivered the knockout. Colbert fed the woke beast for years, and now that beast is starving. The culture shifted. The woke crowd is fading, and even liberals are tired of tiptoeing. Maher told Colbert, find a new audience. The old one, gone. They've moved on to creators who crack jokes without fear, comedians who don't need approval to be funny. Maher's warning was sharp. Evolve or vanish. Wokeness won't save you now. If anything, it speeds up the fall. The woke empire is crumbling, and if Colbert keeps playing hall monitor instead of host, even that $100 million won't keep him afloat. Maher said it, Schneider proved it. And the public agrees. Colbert built his brand on division, virtue signals, and non-stop Trump hate. Now it's all up in flames. Schneider lit the match. Maher stoked the fire. And CBS walked away from the ashes. Colbert forgot what makes comedy timeless, the power to laugh at everyone. Instead, he picked a side and lost it all. Wokeness shielded him for a while, but truth always catches up. The crowd moved on. The culture shifted. The empire fell. The lesson: mock the people and they'll mock you until you vanish. If you're done with lectures and just want laughs, smash that like button, subscribe, and sound off in the comments. Can Colbert come back, or is this the final chapter in his woke comedy collapse? Stick around, more roasts, more truth bombs, and way more